Hi, that is my given name, and my surname is James. Here we are, the pre-service students of University of Goroka under the program Bachelor of Education, taking different courses that we majoring of. We're going to do our presentation based on one of the course under the School of Education that all of us take, and it is on EDY 2312, Behavior Management in the Schools. Okay, the major topic that we're going to do our presentation is attitude problem in the schools in Papua New Guinea. So we do have so many attitude problems in Papua New Guinea as like the fact is Papua New Guinea is a home of attitude problem, and we have so many attitude problems like throwing of betel nuts and etc. But we select one of those attitude problem, which is peer pressure, and we're going to do our presentation on that attitude problem, which is peer pressure. Peer pressure is simply referring to the strong influences of a group or other people that particularly in individual group that its member does in order to be the member of that group. This is what is peer pressure, and this is that. So the cause of some of the cause of peer pressure that students face is like the more they engage by doing this peer pressure, they didn't make it in their education life and this. So in order to avoid this attitude problem, in order to avoid these effects of education, we must stay avoided from peer groups and all that. So allow me to introduce our group members that will present. Our first group member will present about the description of attitude problem in Papua New Guinea, which I just said, peer pressure, and our second speaker will be elaborately explain about the strategies of negative behavior, which is peer pressure, and our third speaker will be explaining about the approaches of behavioral development theory, and our last speaker will be present about not present about, but the conclusion part of it is going to conclude our presentation.
Hi everyone, I'm the first speaker, and I'm going to further elaborate on the negative attitude of peer pressure. Peer pressure is one of the ongoing issues that is currently affecting the student across the nation. Peer pressure can sometimes have a negative effect on students. Some students feel forced to follow their friends even when they know it is wrong. There are four main types of negative attitude of peer pressure that is currently affecting the student across the nation. Namely, 1. Academic pressure, 2. Substance abuse, 3. Bullying and exclusion, the fourth and the final one, risky behaviors. Okay, I'm on to my point. 1. Academic pressure. Peer pressure can make students feel like they must compete with others to get high marks. In schools or in Papua New Guinea, some students, they study too much, not because they want to, but because their friends or classmates make them feel like they must be the best. This can cause stress, anxiety, and even health problems. 2. Substance abuse. Peer pressure can lead students to try drugs, alcohol, and smoking. In many schools in PNG, students may feel forced to take things just to fit in groups. For instance, a student who has never tried smoke or drug or alcohol or anything might try to take during the lunch hour because their friends are doing it, so they don't want to be left out. This can lead to addiction and problems with health issues and studies. And the third one, bullying and exclusion. Sometimes peer pressure can cause students to bully or even leave them out of the groups. In many schools in Papua New Guinea, some students might pick on a classmate just to be because others are doing it. They don't want to be the next target, so they are just joining it, which leads to exclusion. Fourth and the final one, risky behavior. Peer pressure can also push a student into dangerous activities. This can include sneaking out of school, stealing, getting into fights, and many more. This action can get them into troubles. Those pressures can make the students feel happy to speak up for themselves. They might start doing bad things just to fit in and accepted. This kind of peer pressure can lead to poor school performance, bad behaviors, getting into trouble out of the school, or sometimes it can even cost their lives as well.
Okay, I'm the second speaker. I'm going to talk about strategies to change peer pressure. Strategies to change peer pressure are ways that you can use to avoid peer pressure. Okay, most of the time individuals can develop assertiveness skills. That is, when faced with pressure, communicate your boundaries clearly and assertively, explaining why you are not comfortable with the request that is being made by your friends in school or your peers. Okay, and the other one is you can also build self-esteem, and that includes high self-esteem. Also challenge negative thoughts. In that, challenge negative thoughts, replace self-deprecating thoughts with positive affirmations on yourself. Choose supportive friends, and these are friends that you do not put you under pressure. And you must also practice saying no with confidence. Let your peers know their boundaries, and also just help you to know how to avoid peer pressure. Okay, according to Kids Helpline, a site on the internet, there are 5 steps also involved to help change peer pressure, and I'm going to add just some of my opinions on these points. Okay, the first one is a confident no thanks or no not for me phrase when you come across your friends when they're trying to put you under pressure of doing something that is not positive or that is not good. Okay, the second one is using humor to deflect pressure or attention. That is one of the smoothest way of avoiding peer pressure. Third one is move away from the situation as much as possible. Save yourself from being under pressure. That is when you move yourself away from situations that include peer pressure. And the fourth one is be direct and say you don't appreciate feeling under pressure. It does not harm you when it doesn't harm you when you get things straightened out like that. And the fifth one is you get support and talk to someone you trust. That may include your parents, your church leaders or mentors, even your good friends. That would do. There are many other ways that you can apply to avoid being under pressure from your peers at school. Peer pressure is not that much a thing to consider when trying to avoid.
I'll be talking about approaches to behavior development theory. According to Euro Bronfenbrenner theory, it focused on understanding how complex systems of social relationships affect a child's development. Instead of focusing on states or immediate relationships in isolation, the theory looks at many levels of influence, including family, peers, society, cultures, and customs. Bronfenbrenner suggested that children are influenced by various ways. Number 1, microsystem. Microsystem is the environmental system that is closest to the child, and in which the child's immediate interactions. Number 2, the mesosystem. The mesosystem consists of the interaction between different parts of a present microsystem. Number 3, ecosystem. The ecosystem contains environmental elements that have a profound influence on child development, even though the child is not directly involved with them. Number 4, macrosystem is the culture that the child resides in and includes the government and customs. Number 5, chronosystem is made up of transitions and environmental that occurs through a child's life. Peer pressure comes under the microsystem theory. The microsystem theory is the environment system that is closest to the child and in which the child's immediate interaction takes place. A microsystem typically includes family, peers, caregivers, or school. Relationships in microsystems are bidirectional. In other words, your reactions to the people in your microsystem will affect how they treat you in return. This is the most influential level of the ecological system theory.
I will conclude or summarize our presentation. To conclude, negative attitude is a complex mental state involving beliefs, feelings, or value to act in an uncertain way or behavior. However, an example of such attitude in Papua New Guinea is peer pressure, apart from the other negative attitudes. Peer pressure is simply the strong influence of a group or other people to a particular individual, group, or organizations. Peer pressure in schools in Papua New Guinea can have various effects, both positive and negative. Nevertheless, by understanding the negative attitude in peer pressure, for example, like academic pressure, substance abuse, bullying and exclusion, or risky behavior, strategies can be developed. Like individual can develop assertiveness skills, build self-esteem, choose supportive friends, or practice self-love with confidence. Also, by relating to the approaches stated in Yuri Bronfenbrenner's development theory on microsystem, peer pressure is influenced by the child's immediate interaction, for example, within the family or community. Thus, by following the development strategies stated by other speakers, educators and parents can provide support and guidance to students navigating peer relationships.